back to coverage of Tom's Tourney live here in Bruges. Joining us for a game in between Play from Austria and Germany's RMD. The sun beginning to poke through the clouds here in the lovely surrounds of Bruges. You've got Play wearing the 13 4. Play Pool. It's going to be starting on defence. RMD wearing the white, going from left to right on your screen to start with. Travel call to start with. Looking for that quick throw, looking to that quick throw and go, get it on the move. Perhaps picking his feet up a bit too early there. Disc resetting back. Got it centrally just in front of their own end zone. That throw is going to sail. Looking for that throw, looking for the decision we saw quite a lot last game. That lead pass through to a handler running through. Effectively defended by Play that time. They're going to get the disc on this near line just outside the end zone, on the doorstep here. Oh, creative throw over the force. Really cheeky throw. If we get more things like that, this is going to be a fun game to watch. It's a break to start for Play. They lead 1-0. Get another look at that here. Just a little push pass into the air, floating over the defender's head. I don't think he quite knows what hit him there. There's a cheeky throw. Love to see teams inject something a bit unusual into the picture. With the early travel call and then the turnover, RMD never really got going that point. Hopefully we can get a better look at what they're trying to do this from here forward. Play will pull here. It's a big IO backhand going towards that back corner of the end zone. Caught comfortably, chased down well as well by Play. And that swing goes and is caught on the run. Oh, throws just behind the receiver. He slips when he's trying to make the catch. Play with a chance for another break here. A handler threw up the line. Lick it off. Get it at the second attempt. Not for many yards though. A dump, cut, slips, trying to pivot over. And they end up losing a lot of yards, going all the way back to midfield now. Resetting their vertical stack. And it's a stall out. The handler went to look at his dump, and it wasn't quite, and while he was clearing out, bit of a miscommunication. RMD will get a second chance at a hold here. Picking up the disc, looking for that forehand into space. And a big 53 shirt bringing that down. Resetting towards the centre. Going towards the sideline, catching that with two hands. Again, swinging it off in towards the middle of the pitch. Looking for that big continuation around. Nice switch there by the defenders, not letting that up the line cut go. Get it that time though, dumping off. Nice little lead throw into space. Going to chase it down, catch it, looking towards the end zone, but there's no quick pass. Again, another reset. RMD looking very happy just to play a little give-go. Mark sags off to stop that backhand going into the end zone. Can't stop that IO. Goes up with one hand, but it just bounces in and out. Unfortunate, couldn't quite palm it there. Player going to get a second bite of the apple here. Backhand goes around. Play working it down that far sideline. Trying to swing it into the middle here. Nice little inside out. Briefly just teases that hammer, and that throw just falls out of the thrower's hands. That's very unfortunate. Not what he wanted there. RMD will pick up. Instantly looked big. Why does he choose to holster? Little backhand to reset it. Palms it low with his right hand. Thought he was going to learn at one point, chose to chase it down. Proved effective in the end. Toes that in the sideline with the left foot. Jams it down the line for the score. It took a while, but that's finally the first hold of the game for RMD. It's 1-1 now. Delighted to say that I'm being joined in the commentary booth now by a veteran of the European Ultimate scene, Ravi Vasudevan.
Hello. Sorry. Hey, Benjamin. So I just came back. I'm also playing at this tournament, so I just finished one of my games. Now here, so we have RMD in white versus play in black. Am I correct on that?
That's correct.
Cool. And it's 1 break for play and 1 hold for RMD so far?
Yeah, play breaking to start. That's effective.
On that last point, I saw RMD was struggling a lot with their dumps and resets. They're having to throw really far. They got stalled out. They need to clean that up a little bit to stay in this game.
Yeah, their downfield play looks a bit stagnant, and they're perhaps recycling it more than they wanted to as well. We haven't seen play put out a full O-line yet. We'll see what they choose to do on strategy, and likewise, RMD coming out on defense for the first time. Choosing that IO backhand pull. Play choosing to let it hit the ground. Sending a man deep instantly. Don't take it. Slides to the ground to make the catch on his knees. 2 hands. Fakes the backhand. 2 receivers near it. One of them puts his name on it and gets it before. Nice little quick backhand down the line. Finds the IO space. Play to the races here. Backhand to space is going to be too far for the receiver.
That was pretty tragic. They had great offensive play right up until the end zone. Really clinical. Always 1 cut into space. Get it back to a reset when you need to, and then get a little antsy around the end zone. That's quite a common play at levels like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially as the field begins to shrink and compress, you don't quite have the space to make those expansive cuts anymore, and the windows get tighter, and you perhaps force things you wouldn't do downfield. RMD instant swing into space, looking to get it off the sideline into the middle. Just a good idea. Little righty backhand. Gets that to throw down the line. Catches it with the trailing edge. And RMD trapped back on the sideline again. Struggling a bit with the dump. Has to laser an IO through, and the intended target never quite got his eyes on that, was never quite able to locate it.
It's great downfield defense from play. They completely shut down the open side. Absolutely wasn't a single cut open on the open side, and eventually forced that really tough throw. Great team defense by the black guys.
Absolutely. Swinging the disc around the back now. Got a nice gainer underneath. Receiver always keeping the defender behind him. Reset. High blading throw towards that far sideline. Another reset there. Begin to stagnate downfield, forcing that IO backhand, which was perhaps never there. RMD look to break quickly. They're going to huck it down the break side. Is it going to be able to stay in bounds as it goes towards the back cone?
Great disc by RMD. Right into space, right into the back corner. Exactly where it needed to be. Defender had no chance. That's a break for RMD. Got their break back.
Yeah, back on serve now. 2-1 here to the Germans. It's often so tempting, especially when you're away from the end zone, just to think about scoring at the front. But the end zone's often a lot deeper than you always think it is.
Yeah, if you use that whole space, you get a lot more benefit than if you just try and score at the front.
Exactly. We're seeing it again on the replay here now. The defender's nowhere near him. Goes up with 2 hands.
Plenty of space there in the back. Great put.
Yeah, it's a beautiful throw.
So 2-1 here. We'll see. Play played a great first offensive possession right till the end zone. Let's see if they can not get flustered by getting 2 turnovers here. See if they can punch this one in.
Yeah, their defense has generally been pretty good as well. That time it's a smart decision by RMD to not let the Austrians get set and move this quickly before they can really clamp down on defense.
I think RMD has to do that. They're a little bit outmatched when just playing play for play. But if they can take advantage of when they have an advantage, they'll be able to punch in some points like that.
Yeah, play centering the disc here off the pull. Good coverage though downfield by RMD. Little strike cut from the handler. Fakes the big, but there's nothing in the open side. Goes high release with that reset in order to get it around the mark. Puts the backhand into space, sending receivers deep off their continuation, but instead choosing to take that underpass. I'm not sure quite what happened there. Maybe the receiver and the cutter on a different page.
Nice timeout. RMD gets another chance to break. I think he just, I saw the cut he was throwing to and just threw it. He just threw it a little too far.
Yeah, it's always disappointing, especially like the same thing we saw with previous points then. Getting off to the races, but then perhaps rushing throws, not receivers and throwers not quite on the same page.
Yeah, but I have to say RMD's defense picked up on this point. This was better defense than I saw last point.
Absolutely.
They were actually trying to shut down. They were giving the break side a little more, but shutting down the open side, and that's what you have to do to play good defense. Really take something away and trust your mark to do the other part. You can't try and take everything away.
Absolutely. What do you think of the choice to use a timeout here?
That I'm not such a big fan of. I think RMD, well, we'll see with these lines if it's a little different, but at least the line that was out before was good on playing right away. And when play was able to set their defense, I didn't quite see RMD getting many options, but maybe they have a different set of guys. Maybe they have more O-line people out on this point. But in general, I would have liked to see them just aggressively shoot. That's how they scored the last point. And when they didn't do that, play was able to shut them down on the open side.
My worry here is that with only 1 timeout per team per game, using it very early on when we're still only 5-10 minutes in means that there could be an opportunity later on when you really want to use it. You don't quite have it. Also, I love the idea to play ninja off the timeout by play. Doing whatever you need to do to keep your team loose, keep your team involved in the game. Some teams like to really get in each other's faces, really have a bit of a shouting match. But if you're a team that likes to relax and have fun, doing something like that is a nice way to keep yourself calm and loose during a timeout.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice. Let's say maybe I'd see that in maybe a mixed team. I haven't seen too many open teams do something like that, but they must know themselves. They're smiling. They're ready to play D.
Exactly. Do whatever you need to do to get yourself ready. And if that's what they need to do to get themselves ready, by all means. Also some quite agile movements in that game of Ninja as well.
Yeah, get your body loose.
So it looks like they're going with a standard vertical set out of this timeout. Five men in the stack downfield. Well, obviously the handler with the disc. A dump set 45 degrees to one side.
Play forcing sidearm, forcing forehand. It looks like. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that seems to be the look here. I think that's probably what I do off this timeout. Your person defense has been very good so far. I like keeping that nice reset, opening up, being aggressive, attacking that defender. That throw might be a bit too far. Nice layout, going low to save it. Wiping the grass off his shirt. Oh, there's a pick downfield.
Pick downfield.
I love those hand signals. They make things so easy.
If you ever see Irish teams play, the whole team is always doing the hand signals.
Oh, yeah.
Irish teams love the hand signals.
Absolutely. Makes things easy for us and everyone else on the sideline, but as well for people on the pitch. It's so frustrating when play has to be brought back a while because you can't see because you don't know that something's happened.
I remember learning the hand signals a few years ago and thought they were pretty goofy, but they're actually, like you said, extremely useful.
Yeah, just coming in on this far sideline, line trap, high release backhand, and going to continue it over, not afraid to lose yards.
Nice backfield switching with the play defenders. That takes a lot of chemistry to be able to do that well, and they were able to shut down swings with that.
Absolutely.
And cause a turn.
Mm-hmm. Forcing, like you say, a really effective switching, not letting the offense even a chance to strike quickly, get off to the races, and in the end forcing a throw a bit low down the sideline. A big flick is going to start IO and flatten out. It's going to be short of the end zone, but that's a nice throw into space. As his teammates try and follow him up. It's a little dishy pass, and again, popped in for the score.
Nice play-by-play there. I really liked their dump, like I said, the dump defense off of that timeout. They were playing extremely athletic, really switching, really knowing each other, cutting off swings. And number 77 there with a great streak downfield off of the turn. I really like those kind of shots after a turnover.
Absolutely. Strike while the iron is hot, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.
A nice throw. Like, often you see with these, often with big looks, the temptation is to try and score at all costs. Whereas actually that was nice because it just sat and it was just enough so he could run it down. It didn't go into the end zone, but it was a place where he knew it would be comfortable to make the catch.
And then equally nice, number 5 came and gave him a nice easy dump option rather than trying to force himself in and score.
Absolutely. We're seeing it there. There's no one else around him, so rather than force it off and try and jam it into the end zone, number 5, like you say, good wherewithal. So actually we don't always have to go straight into the end zone. We can sit outside and then running just a little pop, give go into the end zone for a score. Let's play even up at 2-2.
And I believe we're on serve at the moment.
We are indeed. The ball goes up and caught effectively. Swung towards that far sideline, but roughly in the middle at the moment. Another vertical set here for the Germans. Dishy backhand. Reset the stall count. Again, not a huge amount of movement downfield for RMD, but that's a nice underpass and resetting the disc quickly. Striking deep, but that throw is blading and it's not quite going to get there.
Not a great throw.
No, it seemed to me like the receiver was already quite deep when he threw that. And so had to try and really gun it down there in order to compensate, and just couldn't get his form right.
Player doing a great job of getting their bodies in the lane and not giving easy open passes. And I think the RMD, it seems to me what I see is that the handlers seem to be quite experienced and the cutters seem to be a bit tentative. They need to be more confident with their cutting and try and actually push through even though there's a body in your way.
Absolutely, tentative is an excellent word. That, however, is good defense. What we saw play doing there, effectively pressuring undercuts. RMD did the same thing. The defender stealing in there, getting the left hand in the way before the receiver can catch it.
And you'll see this number 29. I can't remember his name, but he's a star handler for Erdferkel Marburg, whose mixed team got 3rd place in Europe last year at UCF. So he knows what he's doing on the field.
Really impressive. Nice blading throw into space. He's going to catch that comfortably. There's no mark really. Can't move the disc before it gets set though. Jesus, put the nice backhand. Plenty of spin on that. No problem there. Again, the handler's looking perhaps a bit frustrated now with the lack of movement downfield. That's a nice open undercut though. Tries the break, isn't there? Good catch, one hand. With a lefty blaze down the sideline.
That's just way too difficult. I mean, you're at the end zone. You've worked it. You got the D. Dump, swing, and score. Got a nice end zone set. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, he saw the receiver, but he didn't see the other defender who had actually had to go off the sideline to avoid contact and then came back in bounds.
But he did just get it back. That same guy, you know, when you make a mistake, at least come back, get the D, give it back to your team.
Absolutely, make amends. 29's going to amble over to the disc here.
I think you want the disc in his hands if you're RMD.
Absolutely, I'd agree with you. Nice hammer. There's going to be coverage there, but he catches it on the second attempt.
What a grab. Hope we can see a nice replay on that.
That is excellent focus. So often I've seen it so many times. Players they don't get it at the first attempt, and immediately their hairs drop. They think it's gone. But good focus, good concentration, knowing that actually the way the disc is, we're going to get a second attempt at this, despite the defensive pressure.
Playing a lot of flutter guts will help you get those discs right off of a small little tip.
Absolutely, always important to.
So here we're going to see it again. Oh, here's the D. Number 37 getting it back, and I believe 37 is then going to score after the hammer from 29.
Here we go. This huge arcing hammer going towards the back corner. Number 17 actually does a pretty good job of getting defensive pressure on this.
Bounced off of his head, I believe, and then into his hands. Great focus.
I mean, that's not quite how they drew it up, I imagine. But a score is a score, and it's 3-2 now to RMD.
Pull is up. Great pull. Is it staying in? No.
It's just going to land out the back of the end zone. Pulling is so important in games like these. If you can pin your opponents right at the back of the end zone and never really get them a chance to get going, it can really be a massive boon for your defense. That time he came very close but couldn't quite get it.
Play now with an easy brick mark start.
Nice undercut from that far sideline. Fakes the break around, does take it at the second effort. And another hammer. Monkey see, monkey do. There's a pick, but I don't think it's going to matter. It's probably going to be retracted as that throw is comfortably defended.
Called, but it didn't affect the play, so the play will stand. That hammer didn't have enough edge on it. Came blading back the other direction. It's not exactly what he wanted to do there.
No, it began to helix back on itself. I think often you see this a lot when one team hammers, all of a sudden the other team thinks, oh, actually, we can get into this sort of game with it. And most often it's just a case of just taking a breath and thinking, actually, is this really what we want to do on our offense?
Play your game,
exactly.
Not their game.
Play your game. We'll reset around the back for RMD.
Finally, RMD getting a cut to the open side.
And a continuation cut downfield. 22 with the disc now. RMD begin to move it quite effectively here. That lefty on that sideline faking it. Oh, he's called himself out, I think.
Looks like it was just out the side on the catch there.
Yeah, it's difficult to see from our vantage point. We can't quite see where the line's on that far sideline, but good spirit. Whoever made the call, noticing that actually he was out of bounds and then giving it up. No argument on that. It's good spirit. It's good to see at these high-level tournaments. Oh, defender sold all the way down the river there. Caught peeking at the handler, perhaps. And he's able to, and the mark is able to streak up line. Play resetting it nicely now. That's going to be covered though. There were perhaps two defenders there.
I'm not sure what he saw, but I didn't see an open cutter.
No, I think he saw the cut, but didn't see the intermediary defender in the way.
Yeah.
RMD will bring it in on this on the end zone line even here. Swing it and caught comfortably. We've got that lefty there. It's going towards that far sideline. Nice little throw into space. Number two's got it here. Looks like he's looking for a big. Doesn't take it though. Tries to pivot all the way around. Perhaps off balance. The throw behind him. The defender's able to steal in and intercept it.
Stagnant downfield at the moment.
Little pops hammer. Good defensive pressure.
And he's calling
contact.
Something. He's calling a foul. No contest.
Yeah, good spirit.
Oh, strip was called, so.
So
I'm not quite sure he had control of that disc, but
at the end result is the same.
Yeah.
He will keep possession downfield. A little popped hammer there. We saw one of those really effectively in the last game as well. Resetting back to the handler. And then immediately he's going to strike up line. Reel it in with the left hand.
Again, a throw to not quite an open cutter. I mean, it seemed like the Marlborough guy or the RMD guy was on the open side of the cutter. They need to calm it down around the end zone.
Just a case of end zone eyes, it seems here. Yeah. After they started so well, maybe they've begin to get in their own heads now that they're having trouble scoring and they're sort of rushing these throws. Taking advantage of the loose force to get it over to this near side, which is the break side on this flick force. Bring it in with the left hand near that sideline. He is in bounds. Looks like he wants a big here. Nice inside out forehand space, and the receiver goes up, but it just
seemed to not get his hands on that one.
No, it seems like either perhaps it wasn't quite as high as he thought it was.
I think he just misread it a little bit.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
So we'll see if play can keep their composure on the end zone here.
They've got a poached man on this sideline. Nice decision to move the disc to the break side, not let that poach have a chance to get involved. He's clogging that lane there.
There we go. That's nice how you punish that poach.
Nice handler movement. That throw might have been open up line, but I'd much rather they not force it.
Exactly.
Rather than try and jam it in again and get caught in the same problem.
That throw just a little too high.
Yeah, tried to get it off quickly and didn't have a full pivot and just released it a bit high and never had a chance to really come back down. It's going to boost it deep. Backhand's going to go towards that far sideline and towards the back of the end zone.
Great put.
Yeah, towed in bounds as well. That is a score, and it's another break for RMD.
And play calls a timeout.
Good call here, I think.
Great use of that deep space by RMD. I think that's where they have the advantage right now. It seems they're not able to get it under, but maybe now they've gotten a couple deep shots, play is going to respect that deep a bit more and it'll open up the undercuts a bit. more for their offense.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It might not be necessarily the look they want. They've made a really conscious effort to try and grind it under, as we do see him make the catch in the back of the end zone there. But that hasn't been effective, and sometimes you do need to make those deep cuts, even if it's not your primary offense, just to open up the rest of your game as well.
So we're here at Tourny in Bruges, Belgium. This is the second division of the open competition here. There are 2 open divisions here at Tourny and a women's division.
Absolutely, and I believe I'm correct saying this is the 25th edition of Tourny as well.
25th edition of Tourny and the 30th anniversary of the home club Frisbees. So they're going to have quite the party tonight to celebrate this anniversary. I'm
sure everyone here is wholeheartedly looking forward to it. Play taking a bit of a different strategy last time out. Last time obviously playing ninja, trying to keep themselves used. This time they look a bit more focused and a bit more determined almost.
Well, last time they were going out on D. Now they're going out on O. So maybe they got to be a bit more focused playing O. A bit more loose and fun playing D.
Absolutely. Also, having given up, I think it's 3 on the bounce now.
Yeah, I believe it was 2-1, and now it's 4-2 for RMD.
Yeah, they need to get their headset in gear and work out what they're going to do on this. What they're going to do on this offensive point in order to try and swing momentum back in their favour. They tend to have used the same look so far on offense, going out in their vertical stack. I wonder if we see them transition to perhaps horizontal or a different shape.
I thought it was 4-2.
RMD getting ready to pull, trying to work out who they're going to match up on. It seems to indicate that they'd be going for a person look here. Disc centering towards the brick mark now. Play again looking out of that vertical set. High backhand into space, nice grab by the receiver number 12. Throws a bit behind, nice athletic bid. Very sprightly there, trying to catch the distance gun behind him on that in cut. And can't quite do it, nice effort nonetheless. Picking up, looking big. Going to float that towards the end zone. There is a defender there. And another defender over the top, and can't quite make the play. Number 37, sandwiched between 2 defenders, reads it perfectly.
The second big grab for number 37. He's having a great game. Number 29 seems to know him. They're both wearing Marburg shirts, so I guess they're also play together on their own home club. RMD is a regional team of a few different German clubs coming together here to play Toms.
Yeah, it's always nice when you see local teams combined, put aside perhaps some little local rivalries in order to form teams for these sort of high level tournaments.
We're going to see the replay. The defense nice sandwiches him, but number 37 just goes up big and strong, comes down with that disc, and the head spike up. Didn't get to see the head spike on the replay. It's
a nice effort as well by both defenders, trying to keep close but not exerting too much contact. Often in these situations, especially when you've got a defender coming over the backside, it's really easy to come over and clatter on the back, but he does well, puts pressure on without actually making much, if at all, any contact.
Yeah, it was great to sandwich the receiver there without contacting, like you say, but he just went up really strong and got it back.
Yeah, great positioning on the offender's part, knowing exactly where he wanted to be and not making sure the defenders couldn't get into that position. Nice inside-out break there on that forehand. Fakes the mark's really sagged off here, but closes down quickly. Looking for a swing. That throws a bit behind. Big bid seemed to hang in the air for ages. Getting completely horizontal there. RMD are absolutely rolling here.
Yeah, play is flustered on offense. They had great confidence on their first few possessions, but they needed to get that back.
Yeah, since then they've just got into a quagmire almost.
Although RMD now here on their end zone, rather than being able to make that big shot, let's see if they can do a nice clinical end zone offensive score.
We have seen them hammer near the end zone before, so I wonder if we'll see them do that again. Nice throw towards the break side. No continuation though to get it in. Going to reset towards the middle, tries to toe it in. And it looks like someone from play is calling it a score, saying that he was able to keep his foot up and toe that back foot in the end zone. And it is a goal after discussion. Great spirit there from the Austrians.
That makes it 6-2 for RMD. Quite a big change since the beginning of the game. RMD started off, first point got broken, but that didn't seem to affect them at all. Now it seems their D-line is really firing. I really like that point because so far we'd seen RMD make some big hammers, some big hucks. This actually allowed them to get a nice clinical end zone offense. And you can see the nice toe in there from number 53.
I see we did a nice bit of fancy footwork there. Knowing where that front line is, keeping his back foot just even as much as a toe behind the line while that front foot is up. So the only point of contact is with the end zone, no straddle, it's a goal.
So play here, you can see their heads are a little down. They really have to, they can play better offense than how they've been playing. They have to get their confidence back. Hopefully they can get one nice strong offensive point and get right back into this game.
Absolutely, with 20 minutes left, there's plenty of time for a comeback as well. 4 points is by no means insurmountable. RMD getting ready to pull from that far sideline. Go for a backhand, it's going to stay down that sideline. I wonder if it's going to flatten out or tail out of bounds.
I think it's going to head out.
And indeed it does. Oh, don't know, didn't quite see where it actually crossed the plane into going out of bounds, so I'd be interested to see whether they take that from the sideline or whether they choose to brick it.
They called a brick. They called a brick.
I think probably a good decision. With a brick, it gives you perhaps a bit more you can do with this offense, especially because it looks like they're going with a 3-4 horizontal set this time. And you'd much rather have the disc in the middle there than on the sideline.
Interesting, changing up their look.
I think that's a good idea. Even if it's not your primary offense, sometimes it's good to change, just A, to kind of reset your rhythm, and B, to give the defense a different look as well. Instantly shooting deep. And a flat laser to space. Number 5 is just going to pop it into the end zone. Nice little dishy backhand for the goal. And that change proved very effective, but there's a travel called on that final throw into the end zone. It's not quite there yet. Maybe his pivot was just in the end zone when he threw it. He's going to take the same throw again. Pressure was better this time from the defense, but it's still a relatively comfortable catch. And the change to a horizontal stack proves fruitful there for the Austrians. Finally getting a hold on the board after a 5-0 run from the Germans. It's now 6-3 to RMD.
I was a bit worried there for a second because when you see a horizontal look like that, and I hadn't seen play yet really show a good deep game. And for horizontal, you have to be able to throw both deep and under to make it effective. And that they showed that they can throw that deep, and now RMD is going to have to respect that a bit more. So that should give them some more confidence in further offensive points. But now they have to get fired up and pumped and try and get a break to stay in this game.
Yeah, getting another look at that there. Does catch it just shy of the end zone. Normally, we've seen most of these hucks we've seen today have been slightly floatier, softer hucks, but that was a bit of a quicker huck, knowing that the window perhaps was a bit small. Didn't want to put too much air on it in case the defender's closed.
And you can see it was indeed a travel. He threw that score from in the end zone.
Yeah, good call.
He was looking at the wrong line to get himself in.
And then changing look on defense. Looks like a 3-3-1 almost here from the Austrians. 3 up front, 3 in the middle, and they've got big 43 roaming deep. RMD looking pretty comfortable so far. I like the idea of going with a different look on defense as well. Just change your arsenal a bit. Don't let the Germans get too comfortable.
Especially good against this RMD offense, because what they're good on are these big hucks, and the zone kind of makes that a lot more difficult to do. So you're going to make them throw a lot of shorter passes, which has not been what RMD has been excelling at so far.
And when they did, and RMD did put the deep shot there, but the defender was well positioned in coverage, went over the offender's head, and there's no way that he could get a second chance in it with the defender already there. Good pressure on that cut up the line. He's going to sit it deep. What a great turn of speed from number 37.
37 having an absolutely huge game.
Yeah, it was behind the cutter when that throw went up, but very fleet of foot, covering a lot of ground, getting in front of the actually intended target, so much to the point where you wouldn't have even known that was who he was shooting for.
It was definitely the right shot when you saw his cutter was streaking very wide open deep. But yeah, 37 just picking up that speed.
Yeah, maybe that's what we saw, why we saw play go for the flat huck last time rather than the floaty one. So not give the defender a chance to close that gap. This is going to come in from the front line of the end zone here. Going to stick with that zone look, which I think is a good idea. Just going on that sideline. Blading it down.
37 with another great grab, but he's out. Play with a chance here. Let's see if they can get another nice end zone.
Perhaps looking to score instantly, but not quite there. Still count rising.
I don't know who that was to. I would have liked to see him look dump a little earlier there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think perhaps thinking the front of stack was going to come off. Did not. And 37 again, having a huge game. That's your MVP right there. Instantly going deep off the turn. The throw just so much butter on that backhand, just sitting there nice and comfortable.
Yeah, and you could see when play turned it over there, they got their heads down, they were a little flustered, but you can't do that. You got to get back on defense. Otherwise, especially against this RMD team, because that's how they're going to strike and beat you, is on that deep look.
Absolutely.
We see here again.
Picking up that lefty backhand instantly. It's just going to so much touch and precision on that.
And no one near him. Just perfectly floated into space, just on a shelf for him there.
Yeah, there's no one even within shot of him as well. So it's not just open, he is wide open. Just no coverage off the quick turn.
So that makes it 7-3 for RMD.
Yeah, they're beginning to run away with it here now. But like I say, there is still time. Still got 15 minutes, and 4 points is manageable. We've already seen RMD go on a 5-0 run so this game, so we know that it is possible. Disc on that sideline, looking to reset. Throws a bit high, he's going to get a second bit at it though. Goes to ground, nice clap catch on the layout as well, really making sure. The wind begins to pick up, bit of a breeze developing here in Bruges now. Swung towards the middle of the pitch. Looking to grind that under, but doesn't have it. Then gets it wide open, but that wind coming into play. Disc a bit high, but instantly giving it back, RMD. Just bounced out of the defender's hands. Shooting deep with that IO flick. That is a lovely throw for the score. Seeing the window very narrow, knifing it through that defense, just slicing it open.
That inside out huck to somebody running right in front of you, it's not an easy throw. That was a phenomenal throw. Hopefully we can get a nice replay of that toss there.
Such a high degree of difficulty, and he absolutely nailed it.
Just put it out into space in front. Excellent throw by play.
So
that makes the score 7-4.
Absolutely. The defender does not even have a chance at that throw. It's not bad coverage, but it's so precise, and he just finds that window that you just,
that's the throw. As a coach, I would usually coach against making that huck. Hucking the people that are running straight away from you rather than on a different third of the field is incredibly difficult. So if I'm defending that, I usually give a little more space on that huck because I know it's going to be super difficult. But yeah, if you got throwers like that, I guess you got to shoot.
Absolutely, and he knew where the window was, and he was able to take it. You hope if you're play that's one of those throws where that amps your whole team up. It gets you energized, and maybe they continue up with another nice pull right towards the back of the end zone.
And they're fired up, throwing a zone of their own again.
Yeah, it looks like lots of switching in the backfield as well.
It's a very loose cup, almost a wall. They seem to be giving the swings and trying to prevent every upfield throw that they can.
Yeah, I like that idea as well. Try and frustrate the offense. We know that RMD have got good handlers, but maybe you're hoping on the fact that after a while they're just going to get bored. Looking to squeeze it through there, but it's not there. Takes a nice little reset and pops it off quickly. They're going to beat the zone. I think those little quick go passes before the defense can set are an excellent way of doing it. Perhaps like to see a little more movement downfield, floating it over the top of the defender there. Getting it towards this sideline. Fakes it and sends it back and going towards that far sideline now. Splitting this defense open, spreading it out. Not giving it a chance to clamp down on defenders, on offenders even. Oh, bobbles it, but good focus. Gets it the second effort and just goes for the little dishy dump pass. And there's a defender right there, and he swats that away. He was having absolutely none of it.
If play can manage to punch us in, it goes from 7-3 to 7-5. That's a totally different game.
Absolutely. There's a wide open under, but it's looked off. Stallcount's going to be beginning to rise here. Goes for the nice backhand down the line, breaks the mark effectively there. And again, trying to squeeze it down the line. It goes in and out of the receiver's hands.
Not able to pull it down.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It was a nice throw. But lost his balance throwing it, but was able to squeeze it into that window. Just couldn't quite reel it in.
Play setting their zone up again, seeing if they can get more pressure on.
There's a shot open to this near side here. There's a cutter isolated in a lot of space. But with the wind picking up, I'm interested to see if they're still as eager to throw those overheads. Popping it around the back, moving it onto this sideline, centering it back towards the centre. Oh, good bid there from 43, putting lots of pressure on, but not making the play. Doesn't matter though. Was enough in the thrower's head, make him rush that throw towards the sideline, and it floats and sails out of bounds. Player going to get another crack at this here, just on that far sideline. Has the open under, but again, not taking them. I think they need to start using those throws, even if it's not for a gain of many yards. Just keep the defence moving.
Nice pressure by RMD here.
That flat huck again.
Nice closing speed there by number 29. That throw was really into the space that number 19 on play could have got it, but it was just sitting there for a bit too long, and instead of attacking it, because he was running the other way, he gave a chance for number 29 to come in with amazing closing speed to get the D, and then coming off with a scuba to start the point.
Always love a little sultry scuba there to get things going. Just showing the defence that we have that in our arsenal. We're not afraid to use it. Make them think about it when it's not there. Into moving the disc around the back now, but no real downfield movement. Gaining a couple of yards there. End up taking the easy reset, but then stagnating. I think they need to start hitting these swing off these continuations. Really tire out the defence, force them into making a fatigue mistake. This little hammer over the top, catching it with two hands, and now they can play a little jailbreak here. The disc at midfield goes towards that far sideline. That's a little throw to space. That cutter running through on that far sideline, getting near the end zone. In to see if either team's transitions out of this. Play seem pretty happy to keep the zone here. Most teams, when they get to this distance, tend to transition into a person look.
One thing that maybe RMD should be thinking about is just take these easy swings. There's only 10 minutes left on the clock, and if you can just keep these swings going, you've won the game. Just run the clock out. Play needs to eventually be a bit more aggressive and try and get some pressure on these swings.
Absolutely, I agree with you. He's got that sideline. There is the swing over. He's going to get it down the line, and then just pop it off to the person running through for the score.
Who is it? Number 37, of course.
Having an absolutely monster game. Make that 8-4 now to RMD. What do you think of that play zone? It seemed like they were able to get turns, but perhaps they weren't generating quite as much pressure as you would like at this stage.
Yeah, they're able to. I mean, I think RMD took a little bit of time to figure out the zone. They're just giving up swings, but the problem is RMD has some nice high release throws and some nice scuba throws to get through and over that wall, and that's what they were able to do to break through. I think if you were against a team that didn't quite have those types of throws, the zone would have been a bit more effective. Maybe if it was a bit windier to stop those throws, but in these conditions, RMD had the handlers to able to do it. They did have some mistakes, but I don't know if the zone really caused it more than just mistakes from RMD.
Absolutely, it feels a bit passive, and with the score being what it is and time ticking down, I'd like to see them perhaps be a bit more aggressive on their choice of defence. There's still about 7 or 8 minutes left in this game, so there is time for a comeback, but they've got to start getting their skates on here.
It's going to start with an offensive hold if they're able to hold here. Then they're going to have to come out with a really aggressive defense. I would throw some kind of man or a zone that's way more aggressive on the handlers rather than what I saw before if they do manage to hold this point.
Absolutely. That's a person look for RMD here. Their defense has really ramped up since the start of the game. And the IO shot with the forehand just goes to no one. I don't know if he saw something that his cutters didn't. There was the window there, but just no one went into it.
It seemed like there was somebody coming in for a second, but he stopped his cut. I think the handler just thought the space was there and the cutter wasn't trusting it.
Yeah, one of those cases where just on the different page, nice little tip on the mark, cleaned up by number 17.
Player with a chance here to score.
It's going to shoot that forehand into the end zone. It's going to float over the first receiver, but drop nicely for the second.
Bit lucky there. That wasn't the cleanest shot into the end zone, but it will work. Brings the score to 8-5. Now play needs to get fired up and play hard defense to try and get a quick break if they want to stay in this.
Absolutely, a wise man once said that the The more they practice, the luckier they get. And see, then that's practice, knowing that even though he might not have been the intended target, that he has to be there and back it up in case anything happens. It's a smart play by that cutter. So an excellent play to get the disc back as well. Firstly, getting the tip on that hand block on the mark. Yeah. Really affecting the flight path, but the other his teammates not just settling, congratulating him, making sure that they really seal it, getting it at the second attempt, not letting the offense a chance to carry on with their play. Play wasting no time and getting ready to pull this as well. So we hear the 5-minute warning.
5 minutes left.
Sounds of Paul Simon in the background. RMD running that little give-go in the handler set again until their downfield players can get 3.
Here we see Play playing a bit more aggressive on the handlers. I like that look.
Absolutely. At this point, you can't sit back. You've got to aggressively force turnovers if you're going to come back. And there's a call downfield.
Injury was called, I believe.
Yeah, number 22 coming off there.
Looks like he rolled his ankle or something. I'm not sure if there was any contact.
No, I didn't quite see anything. It's always nice though. You never like to see that. Play not choosing to make any substitutions. Keeping their first choice D-line out there. High release backhand break. Number 37's wide open in space. He's going to reset it, go off to the races. That flow's going to throw. And obviously 37's is able to bring that down, reading it very effectively there.
Missed opportunity by Play, get that D.
Absolutely. And RMD going to sit that. That's going to float. Bit of sky ball here.
And of course, number 37's going to take that down every time. They don't seem to have an answer for him. High balls into the end zone.
Yeah, and he does toe it on the back line as well. I was worried that they were all going to go and have a little cluster in the goal there, but he is able to effectively toe the back line on that soaring, sailing flick. Had air under it, but when your receiver's playing as effectively as that, you don't mind taking those slightly more aerial shots. Let them go up and make the play.
Here we
get
see
second
the
chance
replay.
at here.
Great grab.
Yeah, towing in on the back line as well. Sealing off the defender.
This guy's just a huge athletic player in the end zone, and Play doesn't really have an answer for him, and that's really one of the biggest advantages RMD has in this game.
Absolutely, they've just not been able to shut him down. As well as being athletic, he's very, very agile as well. He's not just physical, but he's able to get up and contort his body around defenders as well, to get himself in the best possible position to make a play. It's been a very complete and comprehensive game from him so far today.
So RMD looking confident here. Going to pull, throw another defense out there. There's about 3 minutes left in this game. I think they pretty much have it. 4 points in 3 minutes is not an easy order.
No, it's too little too late now for Play, you'd think. But you still want to finish this game strong, take momentum into your next game. Show yourself that you can do it. That's a nice low break into space. Holding the disc in 2 hands, ready to throw, overthrow. Fake to the backhand and then resets. Always looking for that forehand there. There's 2 receivers there. One of them catches it, and he's going to shoot it deep instantly towards the back cone. The layout bit is just going to come up short. Perhaps slightly rushed that throw. Was a window. But
he had to put more inside on that. There was just too much angle on it and hit the ground. Cutter was open. Had a nice easy shot, but got to work on your throwing form on those.
It's always difficult shooting towards that back corner as well, knowing that you've got the pressure of, as well as the defender closing, you've got the back line and the sideline, which you've got to try and contend with as well.
So RMD content to just walk it up slowly here.
Yeah,
nice
no
and
rush
relaxed,
for them.
no rush. See if they can, what kind of nice offense they can play. See if Play can hit that shutdown defense that they've been doing before.
Had the man going deep off the first throw, but chose not to take it. Instead, swinging it. 99's going to run that down, bring it in with his left hand. Looking at the undercut, that throw sits. Well read by number 30. Catching it, offloading it. Play getting set again. Then he's going to get that disc back. On this near sideline with the backhand force, trying to trap him. Oh, jamming that in the jam hole, really tight window. Putting that flick into space towards the back cone. Number 34 is going to catch it for the goal. That's a lovely throw. Breaking the force effectively, getting out early and putting a lot of touch. Nice little feathery flick over to the break side. Only Play defenders, really players even getting anywhere near it. We'll have another look at it here. 34 is wide open.
Great look, great vision on that throw. To see that space, it's hard to see. You know, he had to see through a ton of defenders, a ton of people in the way, but he saw that space and just let the throw sit there.
So it's a very prescient throw, just seeing, not necessarily seeing the cutter making there, but seeing the spaces there and knowing that you can have the touch and the skill to put the throw there and then let your receivers go and get it.
So this game, what I've seen so far, it seems to me that Play is a bit more of a structured team. They have really good team defense. They have really good offensive sets. Whereas RMD, they play a little more loose, and they just have really impressive players. And I like to see the team play win over just really impressive players, but this time it seems like, especially with number 37 and number 29 on RMD, just don't really have an answer for them.
Yeah, generally their team defense has been good, but they've not found a way to shut that down, and that's proved to be their undoing here. 29 getting the nice up line, shooting that flick deep. Pressure from number 77. He's going to go up early. 53 reads it well.
Nice positioning by 53 on that cut. I don't know if he did it intentionally, but he drew his defender to that sideline to make his defender jump up early, and then he was able to get all the space. If he attacked the disc directly, maybe his defender would have followed him a bit closer. But some little cheeky moves there. Not quite sure if it was intentional or not.
Absolutely, and that is the game, it looks like.
So that will make it 10-6 for RMD.
Yeah. It seems they're playing one more point. I think they're deciding whether or not that goal was scored before the time elapsed. And it seems like they decided that actually they're going to try and squeeze in one more point here.
But there are no cap +1 rules here, so though this will be the final point, regardless, RMD have won the game.
Yeah, it's been an interesting game. Play looked the better team early on, but just that 5-row run in the middle of the game where RMD were finally able to get things going, they just almost seemed to steamroll the Austrians, and they were a bit shell-shocked. By the time they'd found their feet again, it was too late.
Yeah, Play has a really good team. They have a really good structure, but they have a few players just making a few unforced errors, and then RMD was able to put a bit more pressure, and once Play lost their confidence a bit, that allowed RMD to get that 5-0 run.
If you're Play, you know you can't win at this point, but you still want to put in the last point. Finish the game on a little bit of a high if you can.
Yeah, definitely. This tournament's all about trying to get reps against teams that are a bit higher than your level, see if you can get better and take every point you can. But RMD sneaking in there, getting a nice poach for the block.
Yeah, good awareness and field vision from 91, seeing that actually he had the chance to get in and make that play and catching it fairly comfortably in the end with no one anywhere near around him. Looks for a swing, chooses not to take it. Flick towards the line, he's going to shoot it deep. There's a defender in the area. Number 12 is going to bring that in before number 99 for RMD even has a chance at it. Fakes the backhand, but it doesn't like what he sees. He's trying to get this down the sideline. Instead looks towards the reset, the handler coming through. Number 30, looking very cluttered here for Play. Nice little shoulder fake, get the disc towards the sideline. I think he wants the inside break. Instead chooses to reset for the around. Sensible decision, well executed. Again, looking a bit stagnant. Nothing really on the open side there. Still count rising. Does manage to find number 12 underneath. Instantly shooting it deep for number 5.
What a shot.
He's been so good at putting those OI flicks into space. Great catch there by the receiver, turning his head around, adjusting and making the play. It's going to finish 10-7 to RMD. In the end, though.
Great offensive point by Play to finish that game out. Nice way to finish that out strong. Even though they lost it on the poach block, they fired back hard to get that D. And a great shot there to number 5 for the score.
Yeah, getting a chance to have another look at that. Going up with 2 hands as well. It's a bit difficult. The sun's beginning to come out, so as he turns around, he's beginning to look into the sun. But he got a nice run early. Made an excellent play for the score. And even though it's not quite enough, it's going to be a comfortable win here for RMD, 10-7.
All right, thank you, Benji. That was a great game. I should be back at the end of the day for the quarterfinals. Benji will be here with you for the rest of the day, commentating more great matches from Tom's Tourney here in Bruges, Belgium.
Don't go anywhere.